actually from a real estate company known for its prime locations, proactive property management, thriving residential communities, and good investment value. So, Torre Lorenzo Development Corporation demonstrated its commitment to social responsibility by focusing on education, environment, and community welfare. Employee volunteers supported Brigada Escuela and donated school supplies in both Manila and Davao. To tell us how TLDC is actively working toward a measurable and recognizable standard of environmental responsibility that directly benefits future generations, we have today an MBA graduate from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania with a focus on real estate and entrepreneurship. So let's all welcome TLDC Director of Leisure and Business Development, Ms. Monica Lorenzo.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. I hope you've been as engaged with all the speakers over yesterday and today. Very interesting things that were being shared across different industries. So I'm here today on behalf of Torre Lorenzo Development Corporation. I'll quickly introduce the company for some of you who might not be as familiar with our projects, because we are a boutique real estate developer. That means we are very choiceful about the projects that we do. We don't have any sites to be the biggest, most prolific developer in the country, but when we choose to build, whether it be condos or hotels, we're very, very intentional about the properties that we choose to develop. So, Torre Lorenzo, or TLDC, we actually got our start building premium student residences. So I don't know if you're familiar along España, off España actually, on Galicia, we have Torre Lorenzo Central, which is our project here in this area, and we're actually putting up another student residence on Reten Corner San Anton called Vertica. So what we do, what we started with was we built 5-star what is condos for students. So elevated from a dorm, these are safe, secure, premium residences where parents are happy to leave their kids when they go off to school. So from there, we've expanded our portfolio, and now we don't just cater to students. We have a growing hospitality, a growing hotel portfolio. We have projects catered to OFWs, projects catered to investors, and in the 25 years that the company has been around, we've expanded beyond just Manila. We are now in Lipa, we are in Davao, and we're working towards other areas as well. So for today, I think maybe more than just talk about what the company does as a whole, I wanted to zoom in on one of our resort projects, because I think that really is the flagship of sustainability for Torre Lorenzo. So just quick snapshot, we do hotels, I guess a bit more of the fun side of the job where you're talking about tourism, you're talking about travel, and it's one of the sides of our business, sides of our portfolio where you can really start to see sustainability happen on the day-to-day basis. So we started our hotel journey with Davao actually. We have a good chunk of our business in Mindanao. And in Davao, we started with the Dusit Tani Residences Davao, Dusit D2 Hotel, and Dusit Tani Lubi Plantation. So we have 3 Dusit hotels in Davao. In Manila, we have Ascot Life, which is located closer to Robinsons Manila. And we are opening 2 more hotels. So that's Dusit Princess in Lipa, which is opening next year, and Crest Suites, also located in Davao. So all in all, our hotel portfolio in the next 5 years has about 900 hotel rooms. But for today, I actually want to talk about our island resort, which is Dusit Tani Lubi Plantation. This island is about 86 hectares. It's a whole island, and it's located in the province of Davao de Oro. formerly known as Compostela Valley. They rebranded about 6 years ago. It's, as you can see, it's a whole island. It was untouched. There was nothing on there. And when we started to conceptualize and figure out what we were going to build there, we really had to start from scratch. The entire island had nothing on it. It used to be a coconut plantation, and I don't know if there are any of you who are Bisaya. Lubi actually means coconut. So that's the origin of the name. It used to be a coconut plantation, but because of disease and there was nothing on there, the plantation didn't work. So we were left with an island with nothing on it. And so that started the discussion, okay, if we want to put a resort there, if we want to turn this into a 5-star luxury destination, we have to build it right. And in this case, building it right meant building it sustainably. So for today, just wanted to share a little bit of what we've done. It's a lot of little initiatives that we put together as a company, that we put together as a hotel. And you can sort of see that even in different ways, in different aspects of your business, of your job, of how you think of different projects, you can actually integrate sustainability. And from there, you're actually able to create and build something sustainable from the ground up. So there are kind of 3 things that I'm going to go into today just to really show how we at Dusetani Lubi Plantation show sustainability. A lot of these, I can look back and say, okay, we did this pala, it's sustainable. But in reality, when you're doing things, and I think that's something that's more common with the younger generation, that you're not thinking of it as sustainable first. You're thinking of it because it's the right thing to do. And the right thing just happens to be sustainability. So the first thing is when we came up really thinking about the island and how we were going to put a 5-star international brand resort in the middle of nowhere, was really protecting, how do we protect our resources? So this photo of these dolphins is not AI generated, it's an actual photo of the dolphins who live around the island. The Davao Gulf, if you're not familiar, actually has some of the most beautiful and diverse marine life in the country, but no one knows it. Because over the years, it's been used as shipping lanes for fishing, coral bleaching, dynamite fishing as well. So a lot of what has been there has already been destroyed. So one of the very, very first things we did around the island was to protect it, working together with the DENR to actually designate the island as a coral sanctuary. So 10 meters out from the shoreline, you can't fish. We cannot build anything over the water. And we did this, I think, more than 15 years ago. So from then, this is an actual photo of now what's on the island. All the corals are back, all the fish are back. You can actually, the water is clear. When you look straight down, you can see all the giant clams at Tacloban. We have corals, clownfish, seahorses. We even have bigger marine animals. So there's pawikans, whales, whale sharks, dugongs, dolphins, all around because you make the active effort very early on to protect the waters and to stop any further damage. Second, we also, like I mentioned, we also have hawksbill turtles. So this is an actual photo of some of our turtle releases. When you're thinking about sustainability, you want to protect what's already there. And that means trading off some other things. So in order to have beaches that turtles want to come up to, we realized we cannot make the beach very fine sand. We can't dolomite the beach because the turtles are not going to want to come back. And so when people come on the island, they see some of our beaches and they're like, oh, but ang mabato, I can't swim there, my feet are gonna get cut, I need aqua socks. The simple explanation is you're not the priority, it's these guys. if we want them to come back, we have to make sure that the rocks are still there, that they're still able to travel. Because fun fact, one interesting thing about these sea turtles, where they are born, they come back 30, 40 years later to lay their eggs. So it's a cycle. You're thinking about it not just for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You're actually thinking of it for the next generation of these animals. So because of that, we get several turtle nests a year, and each nest has about 100 eggs. So you're taking care of these animals, and these are endangered species. You're protecting them so that they continue to thrive and have the best chance of survival. Other things we did on the island, erosion, and I'm sure you all know about what global warming and climate change is doing to our beaches and to our our islands. Erosion is a huge problem. So if you're looking at nature and you're thinking, okay, what can we do? You have to plant the right trees. You can't just build a wall. You can't just flood control nature. Nature actually has the solutions for it. So you're looking at planting mangroves, you're looking at what the right trees to protect the shorelines, and because of that, the erosion, the damage is not as bad as it used to be. And similarly as well, when you're talking about what you're putting on the island, you're putting plants that actually survive. One very common thing, especially in hotels, especially in resorts, is you see something that they do in the Caribbean, you see something that they do in Bali, you see something they do in the Maldives, but in reality, those plants that they have there are not going to survive in the Philippines. They're not going to survive on your specific island. So you have to look and see, okay, what's native, what's indigenous, and with the right creativity and the right eye, you can actually make them look world class. So these are some of the plants that we have, and these just, as long as you have the right landscaping team who knows what to do, it actually becomes of international 5-star quality. The second thing that we did on the island in terms of sustainability was really, how do you minimize your impact? How do you minimize your footprint? Because this island was completely off the grid, meaning wala siyang kuryente, wala siyang water source from the mainland, walang internet. So how do you do it in a way that you protect the island as is and keep it the same way for the rest of the resort's life and for the rest of the people who come to visit? So first, that was figuring out that actually the best way to do to source power is through solar. Davao does not get hit by typhoons. Typically, you get one major typhoon every 10 years, and it's a big freak accident. But they get sun every day. They get a little bit of rain every day. So as long as you're able to harness that power, we use it to supply 60% of our resort's energy. So because of that, it's completely quiet, you don't hear anything, and the sun does all of the work. The second thing is, since the island also had no water, it was, how do we maximize the natural rainfall over Mindanao every day and use that to supply the island's water? It was going to cost hundreds of millions to build an underground pipe to get water from, the main water supplier in the mainland. So on the island, you actually have rain, and we're lucky that we have groundwater. So because of that, every time it rains, it collects, it seeps back down into the island's natural aquifer, and because of that, we're able to pump out that water, treat it, and use it for our guest rooms and even our bottled water. But because of that, in order to do that, you have to make sure that the way you design your resort, the way you design your surroundings, everything had to be open space, meaning bawal concrete. So all of our roads are actually made out of sand, because when it with the sand, the water seeps back down into the ground. We have lots of open fields. Even our buildings are elevated because the water will eventually seep back down into the ground. Other little things that we've tried to do for sustainability and integrate them into our guest rooms is our heat recovery system. How many of you have seen something like this? Correct, 0. Because this technology, actually, we saw this in the Maldives, in the resorts there, where they take the hot air that comes out of your aircon and use that to heat the hot water for your shower. So, hindi na kailangan ng separate water heater because your split-type aircon, the hot air comes out and the technology just wraps the hot air around your water tank and supplies the hot water. So, as long as your aircon is on, mainit yung tubig. And since it's a hotel, no one ever turns off the aircon because you're not paying for the kuryente. Because of this, so our hot water basically costs 0. And I know for all of us with our single or multi-point water heater, we know how much it costs to get hot water in our bathrooms every day. So we're able to do that at scale with this technology, which we have in every single guest room. The funny thing is, this technology, while it did not exist in hotels or residential condos or houses, it's been in the Philippines this whole time being used by restaurants. So when we talk to the supplier, apparently you have the likes of Jollibee who've been using this for a very long time. It just never occurred to anyone to put it for a hotel or to put it for a condo. Last thing, I mentioned this briefly also, our water is very clean since it comes from the groundwater. So we have our own water bottling facility to minimize single-use plastic. So we treat our water ourselves so it becomes agua vida level. And this is what we do for all our guests. So we minimize plastic wherever we can. The last thing, and I think this is something very, very close to my heart, is when we're talking about sustainability, we can't ignore the people who make it happen. And for us, that's not just our guests, that's not just our employees, it's actually the community where we find ourselves in. So first, really when you're talking sustainability is, this was a province that never had any hotel or resort. There still is no Jollibee in the town that we're at. There's one 7-Eleven. So what we've done and really to help invigorate the community was really, one, prioritize employing local. So 70% of our employees come from the nearby vicinity, so the nearest barangays and towns. And it's amazing to see how far they can go given the right training, given the right brand exposure, that it sometimes hurts when you train your people, when you train your staff, when you train them to be of international quality, then suddenly one day they come up and say, "Ma'am, sorry, alis na ako, pupunta na ako sa Four Seasons sa Macau." I can't stop them when the opportunities of moving and pursuing a great career in the hospitality industry are unparalleled. The second thing that we've done specifically for Lubi is, as a side project, we work together to actually introduce art on the island. So these are like very, very big, large-scale art installations where we brought in 9 modern Filipino artists who've done work all around the world. We brought them to Lubi and said, okay, you can do anything you want on the island as long as you use materials that are already on the island, whether that be natural materials or trash that they want to upcycle. And then the second part of the brief was work with the community, show them what they can do, introduce them to maybe art, maybe something that they can pursue in the future. So this is just one example of one of the installations. This is working together with the Barangay Pindasan Women's Group. So these are the wives basically of our employees. They work together with two artists, Wawi Navarosa and Ling Kisimbing Ramelo, to create this installation, which is called Everywhere There You Are. So it's 45 meters long, really, really big, really, really neon. And this was about 30 women working together with the artists to actually hand tie, this cloth to create this firewall, this huge welcome sign that we now invites guests onto the island. So, in summary, that's a lot of little things that we've done at Lusitani Lubi to push sustainability forward. When we conceptualized this island, when we thought of what to do for this resort, it was never really the intention to be a sustainable resort. It was really we're doing things because it's the right thing to do and it makes business sense. When, especially like we come from a very business-minded standpoint, it's not to win awards for sustainability. It's not to get the green seal of approval on TripAdvisor or Booking.com. It's actually because it's the right thing to do, and as a business, it's the one that makes the most financial sense. So we're not doing sustainability just for the sake of doing it, but because we know it helps our sales, it helps also our bottom line, it helps our profits. And that's, I think, maybe one very practical and not so spoken thing that we try to do about sustainability. We're not doing it to win all the accolades, but because it actually helps the community, it helps nature, it helps the environment, and it helps the business. I'm also the first to say that we are not the most unique. We're not the first mover when it comes to all of this. I'm very proud to say we've copied a lot of and gotten a lot of inspiration from all over the world. But when you're thinking about sustainability, there's so many solutions out there. There are many other countries, many other industries that have actually started these things, and it's just a matter of looking at it from your own work, your own circumstance, and saying, okay, this is what I can take from the US, this is what I can take from China, this is what I can take from the fast food industry, and applying it to where you are. So I think it was mentioned earlier, a lot of you are medical students, and you're here sitting to talks from hotels, from real estate developers, from construction. Maybe some of these things don't seem like they can apply in your specific context, but think a little bit deeper. There are many little ideas that you can piece together and put and practice eventually as you build your careers. So with that, I hope you learned something new today, and hopefully you'll be able to see how you can build sustainability in your own ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Monica, for sharing with us the sustainability efforts of Torre Lorenzo.